Tariq, as a young man still processing the loss of his mother and the changes in his life, is deeply loyal to his father, Chibuzo. However, Amina's sudden appearance and rapid marriage to his father fill Tariq with suspicion. He feels displaced in his own home and struggles with feelings of abandonment. The conflict within Tariq is whether he should accept Amina as part of the family or continue to see her as a threat to everything he holds dear. While Tariq battles his internal mistrust, the external conflict arises from Amina's mysterious motives. Though she pretends to be kind and loving, her actions suggest something darker. Her strange behavior and cryptic conversations lead Tariq to believe that she's hiding something important. The conflict escalates as Tariq tries to uncover her true purpose in marrying his father. Chibuzo, Tariq's father, is blinded by his love for Amina. Despite Tariq's warnings and suspicions, Chibuzo is adamant that Amina is a good woman and a loving wife. This creates tension between father and son, as Tariq is forced to decide whether to confront his father about Amina or try to protect him from the truth that could shatter their relationship. This tension is amplified when Tariq realizes his father might be unknowingly involved in something dangerous due to his marriage. As Tariq's investigation into Amina deepens, he uncovers disturbing information suggesting she might be involved in a larger plot that could affect not only his family but the entire village. Perhaps Amina's motivations are linked to something much bigger, whether it's land, power, or revenge on someone from her past. This revelation puts Tariq in a race against time, not only to save his family, but to prevent a larger disaster. As the story unfolds, the conflict reaches a climax when Tariq, torn between love for his father and his desire to protect him, uncovers Amina's true intentions. However, his efforts to confront Amina are complicated by her manipulations, leaving him with a difficult choice, whether to expose the truth and risk losing his father, or to try to find a way to protect both his father and his family from the danger lurking beneath the surface. This conflict allows the story to maintain suspense and tension throughout, as Tariq is faced with difficult decisions that could ultimately determine the future of his family. The sun was setting behind the hills of Mbanza, casting long shadows across the dirt road. Tariq squinted his eyes, the warm air clinging to his skin as he sat under the large baobab tree by his family's compound. His father's new house, built with the money his father had saved for years, stood proudly at the edge of the village. Despite the impressive structure, the house felt hollow to Tariq. He remembered when his mother, Ngozi, had been alive. They lived in a simple thatched roof house, surrounded by love, laughter, and warmth. Since her death 2 years ago, things had been different. His father, Chibuzo, had changed. Tariq understood that his father needed companionship, but the way he had rushed into marrying Amina, a woman he had barely known, troubled him. "Are you coming in, Tariq?" his father's voice called out from the porch. Tariq stood up slowly, brushing the dust from his trousers. "I'm coming, father." As he walked toward the house, his mind raced. He had always admired his father's hard work and dedication. But Amina was different. She had a quiet charm, an elegance that almost seemed too perfect. Tariq couldn't shake the feeling that something was off about her, though he couldn't explain why. And tonight he was alone with her for the first time. It was after sunset when Chibuzo, busy with farm duties, left the house to attend to business in the village. Tariq was alone with Amina. He had tried to avoid it, but his father insisted. The tension between him and Amina had been simmering for weeks now. She would try to engage him in conversation, but he would respond with monosyllables, always excusing himself to work or study. But tonight was different. There was no excuse. Tariq had to face her. Amina smiled as he entered the living room, her beauty almost intimidating in the dim light of the kerosene lantern. "Tariq," she greeted, her voice smooth like honey. "I've been waiting for you." How was your day?" "It was fine," Tariq replied, sitting stiffly on the couch opposite her. "How about yours?" Amina's eyes narrowed just slightly, as if sizing him up. "It's been a long day, but I'm glad to be here, with Chibuzo, and with you. We are family now, Tariq." Tariq said nothing, his mind racing. He had been hearing this word, family, a lot recently, but he wasn't sure if he truly felt like part of it. "You're very quiet," Amina said, leaning forward, her gaze never leaving his face. "I've always wondered, Tariq, do you like me? I mean, I know your mother passed, and that must be difficult."
Tariq froze. He had never talked about his mother with anyone but his father. "I don't want to talk about it," he said quickly, standing up. Amina didn't move, her smile unwavering. "Of course," she said softly, almost as if she had expected his response. "But you see, the thing is, your father wants us all to be happy, to be close, to make this family work. I do too, you know." She stood up now, walking towards him. "I know you don't trust me yet, but in time, you'll see that I'm not your enemy, Tariq." As the night drew on, the tension between Tariq and Amina only grew. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The house, which had felt so familiar and comforting with his mother, now seemed foreign and cold. Amina's presence felt like an unseen weight in the room. "Excuse me, Amina," Tariq said, standing up abruptly. "I need some air." "Of course," Amina replied, her voice too calm. "Don't take too long, Tariq. We need to talk." Tariq stepped outside, the cool night air hitting him like a wave. He walked cautiously toward the back of the house. It was pitch dark except for the light of the moon. Suddenly, a figure darted from the shadows, and Tariq's heart stopped. It was Amina, but there was something wrong. The way she moved, graceful but far too quick, was unnatural. She turned toward him with a smile that sent a chill down his spine. "You shouldn't be out here alone, Tariq," she said in a low voice, almost a whisper. "It's dangerous." Just as Tariq began to speak, a noise interrupted them. The sound of footsteps on the gravel path. Chibuzo was returning. Amina stiffened, her expression flickering for a moment before returning to her usual calm demeanor. "Your father," she said softly. "He doesn't know what I've been doing. He doesn't know what I've been planning." Tariq's mind raced. He took a step back, his heart pounding in his chest. "What are you talking about?" Amina reached out, grabbing his arm with an unexpected strength. "You will never believe me now, but you will soon enough. The truth is, Tariq, I didn't marry your father because I loved him. I married him because he's the key to something much larger." Tariq's mind was spinning. What do you mean?" Before Amina could answer, they were interrupted by a loud crash from the front of the house. Tariq turned around in shock. His father, Chibuzo, stood in the doorway, his face pale and horrified. "Tariq, get away from her," he shouted, his voice trembling. Heart raced as he looked between his father and Amina. The truth was now clear. Amina wasn't who she said she was. But what did she want from his father? And why had Chibuzo warned him? Amina's smile faded, replaced by something darker, colder. She took a step back, her eyes flashing with a hidden danger. "Tariq," she said softly, "you will wish you had never asked those questions." Tariq's heart raced as he looked between Amina and his father, Chibuzo. The tension in the air felt suffocating. Amina's chilling smile faded slightly, her expression shifting to one of cold calculation. Chibuzo stood in the doorway, his face pale, his hand gripping the wooden frame as if it were the only thing keeping him standing. "Tariq," Chibuzo's voice trembled. "Get away from her." Tariq could hardly breathe. His mind was a blur, but one thought pierced through the fog. Amina wasn't who she said she was. She was hiding something dangerous. But why hadn't his father noticed? "What is this? What's going on, Amina?" Tariq demanded, his voice shaking but firm. He stepped back instinctively, his eyes darting from Amina's unreadable gaze to his father's desperate face. Amina didn't flinch. She remained poised, her expression a mixture of amusement and menace. Slowly, she turned toward Chibuzo, her lips curling into a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "I've told him nothing, Chibuzo," she said softly, "but perhaps now the time has come for him to know the truth." Chibuzo took a step forward, his face tightening with fear. "Amina, please not now. We can talk about this later. We don't need to involve Tariq in this." But Amina's gaze never left Tariq. Her voice dropped lower, as if drawing him into a secret she had been keeping for far too long. "Your father is blind, Tariq. Blind to the world around him, to the choices he's made, to the people he's trusted. Do you think I came here for love? No, I came here for power, for something far greater than your father could ever give me." Tariq's blood ran cold. "What are you talking about?" Amina's smile widened slightly, and she took a step toward him. "You see, Tariq, I've been playing a game with your father, and you're a part of it now, whether you like it or not." Her voice softened, almost like a whisper. "But don't worry, your father won't understand until it's too late." Chibuzo took another step forward, this time with more urgency. "Amina, stop. This is madness. I don't know what you're talking about. I married you because I believed you would help us move forward, not destroy everything I've worked for." Amina's eyes glinted dangerously. "You think you know me, Tariq?" she said softly. "You don't know anything, and you never will." Tariq's eyes darted around the yard, searching for any clue, anything that would make sense of this madness. That's when he saw it. In the far corner of the yard, near the shadows of the trees, was a dark figure. It was too far to make out clearly, but it looked like someone was watching them. Tariq's heart skipped a beat. Someone else was involved. Before he could react, Amina spoke again, her voice chillingly calm. "It's already too late, Tariq. The deal is done. Your father is already involved in something he can't escape from." Chibuzo's face was pale, his mouth opening and closing as if searching for the right words. "Amina, what have you done?" "I didn't..." Amina's gaze turned hard, cutting through the confusion. "You don't need to know everything, Chibuzo. You've done your part. Now it's time for Tariq to play his role.